Coming up today on Locked On at Texas Tech, Hong Kong Buffet strikes again.
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Now, the number one sports podcast network in the world. This episode brought to you by Mazda, putting that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work that defines you. Stay tuned for highlights in this week's Moving the Game Forward. More to a Mazda because there's more to you. With the only Chris Level, I'm Casey Cowan. Chris, great to be back with you once again to chop up, process, try to digest what we saw from United Supermarkets Arena. I've already used the word with you or term that I probably will multiple times, shell shock. That's the state you sort of find your boy in today. And it's really from the word go or even about 15 minutes before, I guess, all the way down to the flourish at the end, unfortunately, for the other guys as the Jayhawks get out of town with a win over the Red Raiders. Christian Anderson not available. And Willis Reed conversation heading into halftime, and JT Toppin foul trouble and supporting cast members doing their okay. You get the idea. We'll get into all that and a whole lot more. What was going on prior to tip off? You're right there near the thick of it, Chris, courtside getting ready for a call. What was then playing out that was actually connecting for Tech and getting them to a point where you were happy to be? Double-digit lead. And then the stretch. We'll get to all of the above. But what a night at United Supermarkets Arena. Always something new when you step out is what they say, right?
Yeah, you started this thing off by saying, hey, it's great to be with you again. No, it's not. It sucks. I don't want to be here talking about this damn thing. Everything sucks. It sucks losing to those guys.
You personally, Chris. We can change the subject if you want.
I'm kidding. We just haven't had to do this much, right?
Not this way.
It's interesting. You get because I think I'd be willing to bet that the majority of the folks in that building, the majority of your fans, wherever they happen to be taking this game in, probably had a level of confidence that this may not look perfect, but you're winning this one. You just lost one. You're bouncing back. This is the way this is going to work. Probably similarly to how the entire Madison Square Garden felt about the Duke game as that was playing out, and then oh no, sports happened. So I don't know. It's just weird that Kansas has come here in football and basketball this year, and it's been just wildly dramatic for different reasons. So I don't think Christian Anderson stepped on a pocket knife or anything going back to the fall. But yeah, that was a new one on me, man, because it was Kansas that came in with all the drama, and Kansas that came in with their best player talking to associate ADs, and we've got load management, we've got cramping. Do we have any of it? Is he going to play? How much? Where is he being drafted? I mean, the whole thing. And he played 35 minutes, and he didn't play particularly well until he needed to at the very end. And yet it was you that had all the drama So I'll just take you through my night as it relates to Christian Anderson, because I think I was as surprised as everybody else. I think that I have come to understand that about maybe an inkling of something before this, but I think it was pretty much about 25, 30 minutes before tip that it was like, wait, excuse me? That's when I think Grant, because he talked me through it in the post game, and then I think he kind of elaborated some more, but I think that was the reality of it. There was no thought throughout the day that he wasn't playing in this game. And there was no time to formulate, okay, what do we do now? Or what does this look like? Or let's formulate a game plan because I think that all you need to know. Look, JT Toppin is a phenomenal player, and he's a all Big 12 guy. He's a Big 12 Player of the Year, reigning, and all that. But all you need to know is when Kelvin Sampson saw Texas Tech on the old floor, they were like, "Yep, we're taking that dude away," and it wasn't JT Toppin. So, I mean, I've even had these questions, and we maybe even have talked about this a little bit. Like, okay, now you got all these guys back. If you have to sit Christian down for 2 or 3 minutes, well, who's running the show out there for those 2 to 3 minutes? Even if it's just 2 or 3. And you know what? We just hadn't seen a whole lot of that. And I don't count like when Lindenwood is in town or Sam Houston State's in town and you're trying to get to the end of the game. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about conference game. It's all on the line. You're trying to get a little rest. And okay, who's out there orchestrating everything? And last night it was Jalen Petty, it was Lawan Watts, it was Jazz Henderson, for goodness sakes. I mean, it was all hands on deck. Christian is as important to this team and this roster with everything that you're doing on both ends of the floor as any player in the country, in my opinion. And he's an All-American, type guy. He's an All-Conference type guy. So all of a sudden you find out no go. Excuse me, come again. So and yet you've found a way. It wasn't pretty. It was disjointed. You were in this thing. You were fighting. And again, it wasn't easy on the eyes. You couldn't get into stuff. You settled. You kind of tried to turn into a 3-point shooting contest. But in some ways, I'm kind of shocked that it was as close as it was. But maybe that's the best thing, is you found out right before it, because with more time, maybe it would have been like, I don't know. I don't know how. It's just wild night, man. Wild night. Wasn't expecting any of that. And damn it, it didn't go your way.
I think you got some really good players spurred on by a great crowd. You got great leadership, coaching staff wise. Yes. So you're going to have something for the other guy in that situation. Not surprised. You showed a lot of heart in what you did, and you were in a driver's seat eventually. Maybe surprised that you were looking as comfy as you were with a double-digit lead there for a moment. And I do want to get to what was working on the floor, because you compound the Christian Anderson news within in-game foul trouble for that reigning Big 12 Player of the Year. I want to get that in just a sec. But, Chris, was it ever – I don't know if it's just being played up otherwise, but was the conversation real? First, today's episode brought to you by FanDuel, and it's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. It's Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, this is the game everyone's been waiting for, where predictions turn into plays, stats turn into storylines, and every snap feels just a little bit bigger. It's the perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to the final whistle. And get this, if you're a new customer, bet only $5 and you're getting $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is done. It's the last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Today's episode brought to you by Open Door Financial. And if you're a Red Raider balancing family and career this time of year, you're probably assessing the year gone by, forecasting for the future. And whether it's retirement, getting out of debt, leaving a legacy for your kids, or more, here's the thing: Open Door Financial is the one that's doing it the way that's best suited for you and your family's interests. Most advisors trying to sell something hit quotas, only working with clients with huge investment minimums, but that's not how they do it at Open Door Financial Advisors. And Chris, even better, it's a Red Raider that you're going to be talking with. Founded by a 2007 Texas Tech grad right here in Lubbock, and now over a decade and a half spent helping Red Raiders.
Yeah, Cowan, Derek lives in Lubbock. He's buying pizzas for the campers out there before these football and basketball games, things like that. He gives back. He's a trusted Texas Tech guy. I know that so many people out there, whatever they're trying to do, they want to do business with fellow Red Raiders. This is your man. So, Derek Finley, phenomenal guy you can trust. And it doesn't matter if you're flush and trying to figure out what to do with it, or if you're just trying to budget and trying to get out of debt, anything in between, he's your guy. He will take care of you and get you pointed in the right direction.
That's right. Over a decade and a half serving Red Raider families across the country, one simple mission, helping you gain financial freedom and peace of mind, no matter where you are starting from. And it's a subscription-based fee-only model, so never earning commissions on anything they're selling you, which means no hidden agendas, no investment minimums, only straightforward advice, all while living by West Texas values, truth, and grit. So if you're ready to work toward financial freedom, visit opendoorfa.com, opendoorfa.com to connect with Open Door Financial Advisors. Honest guidance for Red Raider families who want to take care of what matters most.
I do think it was real, but as soon as I saw Jazz Henderson get subbed in the second half, I was like, okay, it's not happening. I mean, like, because at some point, like, what are you exactly waiting on? Like, if it was going to happen, and you kind of felt like he will be reevaluated at halftime. I don't know. You could just see when he came out there. Christian is an unbelievable human, much less basketball player, but you could just see his body language suggested that he didn't feel very. I mean, it was kind of written all over his face. And when you get like hit with the flu or food poisoning, whatever it is, the last thing you want to be is in front of anybody and in a uniform. You just want to be like home, like laying down, like trying to feel better, right? And it doesn't matter the amount of IV you get or the amount of like, hey man, you good? Do you need anything? Yeah, give me some crackers and a blanket and a Sprite, and let me get right in a few days, right? That's just kind of so. Yeah, I think there were probably real thoughts that, hey, we're going to keep this thing as a possibility, because I'm not, if he wants to come in here, I'm not going to tell him no, but as time went, I don't think I think it just kind of faded. And
tell me, as you get into the game and it begins to turn the way it does, now we're thinking about Toppin's minutes and foul trouble and all that way earlier than anybody wants to, but you still find yourself, even with a halftime deficit, in a spot where you're going to have a chance to win the basketball game. And then eventually you really are looking good as you stretch your legs in the second half. So what was coming together? I know JT began to make an impact, obviously, when he gets back on the floor, but man, that supporting cast, obviously deserving a lot of recognition given what they turned in.
Yeah, I thought Jalen played very well. But you could just, and I thought Lawan, look, nobody's shooting numbers in this game are going to stand out at all. It was a bad shooting night. There was a lot of volume. There was a lot of misses. Okay, that was kind of the theme of the night, and yet you were still right there. But you're in some different spots. You are asking certain guys to do different things, and these are firsts, right? You're asking guys to do things or get the ball in certain places or initiate this or whatever. And that doesn't even factor into what they're trying to guard on the other end. This is just you trying to get into some offense. But I thought Lawan was phenomenal at times. I thought he controlled the paint and was able to score and deliver. I thought he passed out of the post very well. I thought Jalen's ability to kind of handle it. But, again, it's some disjointed going on too. It's like, because last night, realistically, Jalen Petty is the only player you have on the floor that could really break somebody down off the dribble and get to where they wanted to go. And then a few times he did it, and then he'd get to the paint and then pick it up and go, okay, what now? Because Kansas is long. Kansas is always going to look the part. I mean, they've got guys that are 6'10", 6'11", guards that are 6'4", 6'5". This Peterson kid who's 6'6". I mean, so the margins there get squeeze you a little bit, but it sounds corny to like brag or feel like you're proud of some of these guys, but I know Grant, the way he summed it up was our grit, our toughness, it was all there. Our execution was not. That's what. So it's like, okay, now we're on to a different problem.
I never know what the next hour will be. I mean, you're so right in
Yeah.
saying the dramatic storylines, like personnel-wise or program-wise, were all in Lawrence leading to tip-off. I mean, like social media had a lot of content regarding fans wanting agents banned from Allen Fieldhouse, etc. It was fun. I was having a lot of fun with it, observing that leading up to tip. And then all of a sudden, okay, we got some dramatics here for the good guys. You just never know what you're going to get from minute to minute. But yeah, credit to them for putting themselves even in the position where they were, Chris. And that was at 9:57, I think, following a watch three-pointer going down with a 10-point lead in the ball game. We know about the final stretch handful of minutes. It's a last handful of minutes. It's a 14-2 run for Kansas. I think 8-0 over the last couple of minutes for Kansas. And not the way you want to finish, but you get to that point, and there was some good shooting and, like you said, grit and whatnot that was lending a hand there, though it was always a thing of beauty offensively. But, man, the worm turned. And what do you feel like really there in those final moments or that final stretch was going the other way and all of a sudden was keeping Tech from finding anything and putting Kansas in a position where they were to steal the win?
Minute and a half left.
First, today's episode brought to you by Indeed. And hiring isn't just about finding somebody willing to take the job. It's about finding the right person with the right background who can actually make a hand in moving your business forward. And if you want candidates who match what you're looking for, Indeed sponsored jobs is the only move to make. Instead of hoping the right person stumbles across your post randomly, Indeed helps you match with quality candidates by boosting your job listing to the people who fit your specific criteria, whether it's a skill set, specific certifications, location, or more. And that saves massive time because you're spending less energy sorting through mismatches and focusing only on those candidates who are actually a fit. Here's proof in the pudding that says it all. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies just like yours have made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed sponsored jobs. And right now, Locked On Texas Tech listeners will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. That's Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed.
Minute and a half left. You challenge an out of bounds call. You win this challenge. You've got to inbound the ball, and they're going to kind of put on a full court press. And Lawan throws the ball into JT, and JT threw it to Lawan, who was going to set a screen for Petty, and he just never saw it. That's where it all turned, because that Kansas gets the ball back. Peterson hits the first three to tie it, and then because you were kind of in hang-on mode at that point, and it was just like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, oh. And that's where not having a decision maker or certain guys that are used to being in there and that was the one that it was like, I don't like the gut punch of the Darren Peterson 2 shots, because he didn't play. Maybe he played his worst game of the year statistically, but it's not. Nobody will remember it that way, because they'll just remember about the 2 shots he hit, and the Tech students going, he's a P, I mean, all the stuff that I don't know what came out on TV, but yeah, I've seen all the video clips. It's like, yeah, he's whatever, and he kind of it was fairly loud, and he got to laugh the last laugh, I should say, but that was the moment where it slipped away. Was just kind of the unforced error. It was nothing that Kansas did. It was the pressure of the moment. It was just the lack of kind of chemistry, continuity, whatever going, oh, I thought, and it's just one of those things, man. Sports are funny. They will humble you quickly. And, we've said this, Cowan, it's the storm analogy in this league. It's just the truth. Coming out of the storm, in the storm, going into one. Right now, you are in the middle of a storm. You've lost 2 in a row. You've got another tricky road trip coming up. What are you going to do with it all? There's still 5, 6, 7, potentially 8 weeks left of this season. and you've got so much upside, so much room to grow, this and that, but you just let a massive opportunity for your resume slip away, and it stings, and it should. And now the reality is you probably dropped a seed line or two in any sort of bracketology. You're probably looking at playing on Wednesday of the Big 12 tournament as opposed to playing on Thursday. So they're, but don't count out Grant and his guys for, reaching that potential and going to steal one or two of these, these tough road games in Ames or Tucson or Provo, Morgantown.
That's kind of what we look at now, right? I guess if you really want to kind of get back, or like you said, you got to go steal one of those type of ball games, I think.
I think so. These will be upsets. You're going to be an underdog in all of these. And I mean, Iowa State and Arizona, there is, one's pretty much a lock to be a 1 seed at this point, and the other one is just like, if they're not a 1, they're the top 2 seed kind of thing. And yeah, you've got to go into the Lion's Den, meet Nicholas, the whole thing, right? So, and that's you got to worry about West Virginia first, but it's just when you're sitting at your remaining home schedule, because think about it this way. You know what's crazy? We will never be able to say this again. You literally have had 3 straight home games with 3 top 5 players in a row. And you've seen Debansa, you've seen Flemings, and you've seen Peterson on full display. These were massive home opportunities. You went 2-1 in that stretch. Nobody else is going to offer that up to you. Colorado, your next home game, TCU, Cincinnati, Kansas State. You better win these. That's just the way that the formula works, and we'll get excited about them. We'll talk about these games, but the metrics and the committee is going to go, well, you better have won that. So your opportunities now are all away from your building to do something. Yeah, no, not at all. And
we'll have something for them. Hey, maybe we channel the spirit of Adonis Arms tomahawking Matthew Meyer's head into a canoe last time you take number 1 down on the road, right?
Number 1 in the country. Yep, bingo. Go. I think that's
well said. Into existence. It's happened before.
And you've got a coach that loves the challenges of going to win on the road and is damn good at it. And you did it last year in Houston. And again, at times where nobody will see it coming too. So
yeah, that's sort of the other component, yes, that sticks with me. There's a little bit, and it's not exactly the same because it's not like you get down big and then all of a sudden you come back. I was going to say there's a little bit of a Mike Leach type of vibe. It's more so just maybe when you're an underdog or when you're in an adverse scenario. It doesn't have to be a 3-touchdown deficit late in the third quarter. But you find a way to maybe do something improbable. We'll see if that happens or not. You're not a win richer, but I hope you're a better basketball team because of what you went through last night in days and weeks to come, because I think you had to dig for something and you found a little of it. Unfortunately, doesn't get you over the hump.
I think that's very well stated. Back on the improbable, the Duke game is just like first, fresh on the mind too, because that made no sense whatsoever. And I guarantee all the Duke fans that were in there in the full Madison Square Garden were saying the same thing, like, what happened? What just happened? Kind of like we were last night, unfortunately, for different reasons. I think what you say is dead on in that I think Grant was asked about this after the game, and he kind of had this – he paused and he kind of gave this smile in a sick, twisted way. I think he likes it's not fun. I think he and everybody was miserable after that one. I think they all took it really hard. But the sick, twisted part of what these guys do for a living, whether you're a player or a coach, you kind of get off on some of this stuff and some of the adversity and like use it, and we'll point to it weeks later. That would be the ultimate goal, is that a month from now you'll go, that, we gleaned a lot from that, or we're better from that, or we won this game tonight, improbable or not. And a month ago when we dealt with all that adversity, or we were in the middle of that storm, yeah, we got a little hail damage. My fence fell over a little bit, but hey, we're here today because of that. And I think Jalen Petty and Lawan, I think you're trying to pull it out of these guys. Jazz Henderson, I mean, when he hit the three and Bill Self just smiled and called timeout, I mean, I was on the broadcast going like, I can promise you one thing. I don't know a whole lot, but I can promise you Kansas spent all of 0 minutes talking about Texas Tech as an opponent on Jazz Henderson and what to do when he comes out there. Was not on the scouting report. And Bill Self's like, okay, timeout. Like I've seen it all. And you kind of are like, oh man, look out. I was like, this is the stuff that legends are made of, right? Remember the night when Christian Anderson couldn't play and Jazz Henderson came in and he dropped a three? He is not a 3-point shooter. He's a very smart player. He talks. He's JT Toppin's teammate in high school. But the 3-point specialty, that's not what he was in there to do. And yet he dropped one and did hit nothing but the nylon. But yeah, man, just didn't work out for you. But you'll learn from it and be better from it. But it doesn't get any easier coming up this weekend.
No, it doesn't. And you got a few days to stew on it. If you are worth your salt, you'll make good use of it. And we're going to hope for that. But a tricky trip coming up to Morgantown, West Virginia, round ball edition of the Duchendorf Cup on deck. And we'll be getting ready for it with you right here on Locked On Texas Tech. So, Chris, appreciate some time to catch up on this today. And if you need a little Red Raider time alone, anybody out there, we can write you a note, get it to the employer, the significant other, the kids, whatever. Leave daddy be a little bit today. We're trying to process some wild occurrences from last night, man. Appreciate you, and we'll get back to processing soon, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, we're all hurting, man, but hey, man, we'll persevere. We'll keep pushing. We'll bounce back. I don't know who we is, if that's you and I, if that's the boys wearing the uniforms, if that's the whatever. But we're all in it together, right? So
that's right.
Yes. So there'll be better days ahead. But yeah, these last 3 or 4, man, 2 thumbs down.
Misery loves company, needs company, and you are out there, right? There are people on the other. I think they're out there, Chris. I'm looking close through this lens. I think I can see a few. Appreciate you for being out there. Anywhere you may be, thanks for dialing us up. Every dayers always along for the ride. Thank you. And, of course, the Matador Mob. And I hope it was therapeutic, texting obscenities into the void. I did enjoy some of those with my coffee early this morning. Hit the show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial if you're interested in joining that crew. Your direct line to Chris and myself and the void with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time. We hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.